Hello everyone, my name is Owain on the Thomas Rose channel, and this is my brother.
Joey.
And today we are going to be talking about the first Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, which came out very recently, and just talk about our thoughts on it and what we think the movie's going to be like.
Yeah. So starting off then from a trailer where we see, Peter now in his classic sort of red and blue costume.
Yes, the one we saw at the end of No Way Home.
Yeah. So it has no longer got the tech involved in it now, like the Iron Man suit and all that business. So literally his own costume made one. It's a lot more baggy because you kind of see that ripple as he falls down the building. So it's nice to see him, I guess, really just become his own,
become
Spider-Man.
Actually Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like how we know him.
And not just, some, apprentice to Tony Stark, I guess, from the other ones, So this is, because obviously his symbol has changed now. It doesn't look like a little kiddie spider now.
Yes.
It actually looks like a fully, like the Tobey Maguire symbol.
Yeah, like the Tobey Maguire one and Andrew's.
Yeah, it's probably from that he probably got the idea to do that symbol as well. A bit of a mix of the both, which I do really like. And you can see him in his struggle, I guess, to sort of move on from MJ and Ned.
Yeah,
when he looks on from the video on his phone.
Yeah, because you see him watching that video of them getting into MIT and MJ saying how happy she is and stuff.
Yeah.
And Pete just sort of, throws himself off the building to go be Spider-Man. And that shot that you see from inside of the mask, where you see his eye inside of the mask and, the city reflecting his eye, that was really cool. I really liked that shot.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Now, there's a lot to digest in this trailer because I think there's a lot of characters that were thrown in this. And near the beginning, one that a lot of people suspected for some time, the rumours were going to be Punisher, Frank Castle. So Daredevil at this moment in time has not come out yet, season 2 of Daredevil. So we don't technically know what has happened between,
season one and
this right now. A lot of things could have happened inside the city. Now, in terms of what's happening with Frank Castle, I'm not too sure, but it looks like he is still out there. He is still kicking ass, and he is taking down you see them following tanks, but we don't actually know
who the tanks actually are.
Yeah, for all we know, it could be the anti-vigilante task force from Fisk and all that business. But I did like the bit where he's about to swear and he webs him up and he said, "Go home."
Yeah.
So I'm glad that those two are finally going to meet, because obviously you did have back in No Way Home, you had the Daredevil.
Yeah, with Matt Murdock defending Peter.
But obviously back then they would have known, Daredevil would have known him, but he would have known he was Daredevil, and now he is going to meet the Punisher in his glory. He was in a van. I don't actually know if in that van, he was, that's his battle van from, remember?
Yeah, I think it probably is. I think it'd be a wasted opportunity if they didn't make it his battle van.
Like the 90 cartoons, where he has, his battle van. It's all, has all the gizmos and the weapons and stuff to use, which I think would be pretty cool. In terms of other characters, this one I was pleasantly surprised to see, which was Scorpion.
Yeah.
Matt Gargan. And that tail. Oh my god.
He looked sick in that. I've been waiting so long to finally see him again, and he's finally back.
Yeah, and it's the same character, the same actor, that it was from the original trilogy that we had before with Spider-Man when he was in prison. So he's gotten out, whether that's to do with Fisk getting him out of prison, whether he just broke out himself. But the fact is, he got all that tech from somewhere, so you must either know someone or stole it from somewhere to get all that.
Now, the thing is, I don't think Scorpion's going to be, the main villain, because you see in this trailer, there's a lot of people that could be the main villain. I just don't think Scorpion has the vision, really, to be the main villain. But I imagine he'd be, the side villain, where he's, the reoccurring bad guy.
Even though he shouldn't really be, because, I think Scorpion is such, a big villain. He could have been that sort of...
but I feel compared to all the other people that they're showing in this trailer, he just doesn't have the vision to be the big bad. But I imagine he'd probably be working for them and be that reoccurring bad guy that Spider-Man has to keep fighting in the movie.
Because we see a lot of images. With these trailers, they go through the images so fast. You have to sort of slow them down a bit. But you see someone strapped down to a chair. I don't know if that was him being experimented on for the suit. Maybe getting the measurements, getting the suit on. Could be one of those things. When the suit is on him, it's hard to sort of take it off. yeah, sort of thing. So I'm not too sure about that. You had the Scorpion. You had some kind of entity that seems to be shifting from person to person.
Yeah, that was really weird. A lot of people seem to think it's Jean Grey, but like I don't understand how that could be Jean Grey. I don't think she has that power.
I thought
really.
any of that business wouldn't happen until after Doomsday. Now, this is supposed to happen while Doomsday is happening right now.
Yeah.
Like, the timeline is supposed to be the same time. So when Spider-Man Brand New Day is happening, Doomsday is supposed to be happening as well. I think that's what they've said, isn't it?
I think so, or something like that at least. If it's not taking place immediately as Doomsday's happening, it's happening just before it.
Yeah. So, yeah, anything's possible. It could be Jean Grey. I just don't see it. I mean, I don't think so. You know, 'cause it's like that thing where people were saying that they could see Rogue on the bus. Yeah, it's a girl with whitish, like a strand of white hair and stuff.
But like, we're still in the multiverse saga, and I understand we're bringing X-Men, but it's now really the time to bring in our own X-Men as we're bringing back the original X-Men and have like two teams of X-Men in like the same universe. I don't think that really makes sense.
And the thing is, they can, like, when trailers and when the actual film comes out, they can cut things out and put other things in.
Yes.
So we have no idea what we could be seeing in the actual film on the final product.
Yeah.
You know, they could just be doing this to get the fans, you know, sort of speculating, oh, so and so is here and so is there and stuff.
A lot of people, though, on the subject of mutants, seem to think this is sort of the first step to the mutant saga because of Spider-Man seemingly mutating. And then they might follow the story of Man-Spider in this, where he turns into a man-spider.
Well, do you think that would happen in this film or in a later film?
I think it's going to happen in this film, seeing as he's going to have things like how they are constantly talking about in the trailer, how he's mutating, and like him going to Bruce Banner to see like his powers sort of changing. And he even has the organic webbing now.
Yeah, like Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
So he's far less reliant now on the tech and more reliant on himself. So his powers must be getting stronger in himself as he's...
more spider-like.
Yeah.
And people even noticed in that scene in the prison where he seems to be fighting the Hand and he shatters that katana, people think that they edited out 4 extra arms that he actually has because of like how he's got his arms all the way up here when he's fighting them. People seem to think they edited out.
So all like No Way Home when they cut the other 2 Spider-Men out when they were fighting the Sinister Six and all. Yeah.
That's exactly it. And then in the other shot where Peter's jumping at all those Hand people that are jumping on the rooftops, a lot of people see that those Hand people aren't looking at Spider-Man. They're looking at something that's facing directly at them as opposed to above them where Spider-Man is. So people think that Daredevil might also be in this movie and help Spider-Man.
That is a lot of characters to throw in one film.
And then it's Daredevil, Spider-Man, and Punisher versus the Hand.
I mean, I can see it.
But it's so much in this film.
I wasn't expecting to see the Hand in this. At least I assume it's the Hand. I mean, no, everyone's drawing conclusions.
Yeah, I
it's
think...
the Hand. It could be one of those things where they try and throw you off, or it's not that. I know it probably is the Hand. It has to be.
Yeah, I think it was confirmed.
With katanas, that it is the Hand.
I think it... I don't know if it's true, but I think it might have been confirmed that it is the Hand. I'm not sure, though. But it definitely seems, if nothing else...
I just want to know what, like... So I remember the old Daredevil shows and stuff, and I remember they're sort of in some of the later seasons on the Defenders as well, and how that ended off. So just trying to think to myself, how are they coming back, and what is their whole thing in a Spider-Man film, to be honest?
Well, they are technically a Spider-Man villain as well.
I know, but again, I guess this is just brings up the question from earlier on, what is going to happen in Daredevil Season 2 to sort of make sense of what's happening in Spider-Man now? Because at the moment, I can't see a connection, but maybe that will once that show...
Yeah, because the only connecting point between that and this is Punisher, and that's it.
Yeah, at this moment in time, anyway. So yeah, we see that. We see the new powers that seems to... Or at least it look like an entity, like swapping from person to person. Someone in the hood, that you assume... You thought was Jean Grey, you thought maybe.
Some people think it's Jean Grey. Some people think it's also Mr. Negative. I think it makes more sense to be Mr. Negative. There were even a lot of rumours that he was going to be the main villain. But again, after seeing things like the Hand, and that they're going to do like Man Spider and also Scorpion, and it seems like Punisher, and they might even do Daredevil, I don't think there's enough breathing room to do Mr. Negative in this film.
Unless some of them are just little setups for the future.
Maybe.
I'd say, like, Scorpion you think might be a side character. I feel like he shouldn't be. I feel like the Hand should be more for that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I feel like the Hand's a whole criminal organization with all these leaders, and Scorpion's just one guy who, for as cool as he is, isn't more powerful than the Hand, in my opinion. So it makes more sense he'd be working maybe for the Hand, as opposed to, you know, usurping them as the main villain sort of thing.
I guess, yeah. But it's interesting. It's interesting as well. Peter Parker gets the key to the city.
Yes.
Because what I took away from that was when he got the key to the city, he's trying to move on with his life and stuff, but he's also trying not to forget Ned and MJ, because obviously he does visit them.
Yeah, in the coffee shop.
Them. You can hear him in the background say, we used to know each other before all this happened. It's like, is this you working up the nerve to say that to them? But you're not actually going to say it, or are you actually telling them this business? But the whole key to the city business, the reason I'm bringing that up is because you can see, like, the secretary person, the woman that was in, I think, the last season of the Daredevil show, who's working for Fisk. She is giving him the key.
Yeah.
Fisk, for his whole anti-vigilante business, what I can't understand is why would he do something like that unless he maybe wants to use Spider-Man to take down his own enemies. So instead of, sending his, like, vigilante task force or whoever else, to go after these people that are annoying him, let's send out someone I know is already super powered, who is loved by the people, to work with me. They'll give me more political, power throughout the city, and use that to go against, Frank or whoever else.
That does make sense, yeah.
And I'm just wondering, like, the whole key to the city thing is just him just sort of being, like, nice with him to sort of
try and get
on
their
his side
trust.
sort of thing.
That would definitely make sense, because it wouldn't make sense for him to just, let's give Spider-Man the key to the city, as he's one of the biggest, vigilantes, sort of, right now. It wouldn't make sense for the guy that hates vigilantes to give him the key.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's going to be interesting to see if we see Fisk in this as well in some way, shape, or form, because I still don't know if he may be the one that got Scorpion out of prison.
He might have, yeah. And we also can't forget the whole thing that he planned in Daredevil Born Again, as you told me, with the whole him trying to make, like, this empire or whatever, this criminal sort of city. Maybe that's how the Hand tie into it, because of the whole legal thing that makes it technically legal for them to do it. You'd have all these other criminals and organizations coming to try and take part.
Yeah, it's like a free port. Yeah.
That would be how people like the Hand come in, and then maybe Scorpion's like, I don't know, like the bodyguard, because you do see other villains in this as like background things, like Boomerang, I think, is one of them, and there's a few others. Scorpion's the main one, obviously, but there are a few others there. Fisk could be hiring them to protect the port and act as, like, security, and as well as taking out the vigilantes. I know, it sort of seems like his priorities are split between taking out the vigilantes and making a, like, organization.
Yeah. No, I think, again, until season 2 happens, I don't know what happens.
We can't really know.
Yeah, we can't know really much on that side of things. I think I can't wait to see Spider-Man and Frank meet up for the first time.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
I think it's going to be cool, because they're two different personalities.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, Frank being toned down a bit for the film, or maybe he's not toned down at all, who actually knows, like, but the whole, like, them, like, chasing after a tank and all that business, like, it's a vigilante task force, but I don't think they have a tank on the streets.
No, I think that's a bit more than just a task force at that point. I don't think Fisk has the budget to give them a full military operation.
Yeah.
Though Hulk is meant to be in this film, so...
Yes, well, that's another thing. Bruce Banner, he is a student... Well, he's not a student. He's a teacher who's teaching students. And, Peter's asking him for his... I thought to myself, okay, so you're gonna be, you're not, but you know, you're like the lizard in this, in like the sort of bio sort of physics and all this business.
Also,
Teacher.
speaking of lizard, there were people that noticed that as that voice in the background was talking about how, like, oh, spiders have like 3 life cycles or whatever, people noticed that voice was Keith David.
It was.
And people
you see him, I think, in a chair, don't you?
That was him.
I think, well, possibly. I think so. Again, the images are going by so fast. But yeah, that voice, I recognised it as well when I heard it.
And there are 2 people that people think he could be. Either Tombstone, because I think it's confirmed now Tombstone is also in this film. But I think he's already been cast. Or, and the main thing, people think he's going to be the Lizard. And they're going to do Kurt Connors in this film. Or set him up. Because if you think about it, if he's teaching at the university and Spider-Man's going through the whole becoming more like a spider thing, Kurt Connors might find that out and be like, well, if he's getting all these different powers by becoming more like a spider and having spider DNA, if I do the same thing with a lizard, then maybe I could regrow my arm. And then that's how we get Lizard in maybe the 5th film.
Bloody hell, because I'm not being funny. Again, there's way more characters that...
I just point the movie's going to be as long as Endgame.
Yeah, maybe it does. Maybe that's what, because we're about to transition out into the next phase, and this film is supposed to help with that. Because apart from people like Norman Osborn and Doc Ock and all this business, which pretty much, at this moment in time, some of the only ones that are not being put in this film. And we can't also forget about what happened at the end of the last film, which was the Venom symbiote.
Yes!
That's still out there somewhere.
So that's probably going to be at least mentioned throughout this film a little bit.
Possibly, I don't know. Maybe it's just working its way to New York. Again, you know, about J. Jonah Jameson, like an Eddie Brock sort of situation. I don't know what will happen there later on down the line. All we can go off is from film by film or series, show by show, because we still got Daredevil to go through yet. And then Spider-Man. I think it's going to be a big film because it is setting up now, I guess, another trilogy now of films. So I guess they have to throw a lot of these characters in here for the future films and what they could bring.
I just find it interesting how, if the theories are true that it'll be Kurt Connors and Kurt Connors in this film, how so many people thought, oh no, they're going to bring Norman Osborn in first and he's going to be like the guy Peter tries to stop. Because he obviously knows that all these people become
Norman
villains.
Osborn might not actually exist at this moment in time.
Exactly.
Until after Doomsday.
But I find it interesting how of all the villains that they had at their disposal to have Peter sort of, oh, I want to stop them from becoming like the versions that they see in No Way Home, they choose Kurt Connors, which is pretty cool, I think, and ties very well into this. But it's an interesting choice that they decide to go with the more niche out of the villains in No Way Home, because they could have gone for things like Green Goblin and Electro and Doc Ock, the more popular ones.
But I think save them down the line and they're classic, and we just had them in the last Spider-Man film anyway, so save them and bring in the other new ones, like, well, I say new ones, but you know, the other old classic villains, and put them in first in this new trilogy that we're going to be getting. But I think they're trying to maybe get some of the older characters to come in to help some of the new characters going forward into this future trilogy. Like, I really found it interesting Bruce Banner was in there.
Yeah, that's really interesting. If the rumours are to be believed, he might actually return back to Rage Hulk in this. But
really?
I don't know how true that is, and especially, again...
The whole Battle World thing that we'll be having later on down the line.
Yeah, but some people seem to think he might actually come back to being Angry Hulk in this.
Well, I hope so, because it's been, since... Not even Endgame, Infinity War, since we last had
Rage Hulk,
At the very beginning, where he fought Thanos and got beat up, and that was it after that.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him ever since.
And so that would be really cool, but how are you going to fit Hulk into this?
I don't know. We'll see. I think, as you say, some of these are going to be side sort of characters, not shown much in the film, but...
Yeah.
And then the rest may be set up for future films. But I don't know, out of all of it, the Hand, Scorpion, maybe Fisk could be in there. There could be God knows what else. But it'll be interesting to see. I can't wait. It is coming this summer.
Yeah.
So not too long left to go now. And chances are we're going to probably get more teasers and trailers before then, showing us a bit more what else is going to be happening. So is there anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so.
In that case, that's going to be it from me, Dewi, and my brother
Owen.
And we will catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.